So I've obviously overkilled on the idea that Christ is referring to. Many people have conceded my point. They've just testified by their actions that they don't intend to obey God through me. All right, so we go to Matthew 7, judging others. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with this measure you use, it will be measured to you as well, or to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, while all the time there's a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. So all the LGBT people, military, all the white cultural supremacists, social norm fanatics, they actually have a plank in their eye. There's no speck in my eye. Okay. Jesus makes it clear in the same section that they obviously and quite frequently misquote, that you should remove the speck from your brother's eye, which takes judgment. He says, you hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Now, plank starts with the word P-L-A, right? Play and play, right? Word play. They're playing the game. They refuse to give me my rightful place, so they're playing stupid. They're playing along with the pre-existing social orders of the state, okay? And that affects who sleeps with who. So they're worried about the P-lay, okay? You know, P being the penis. Who's laying who? Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under your feet, under their feet, and tear you to pieces. Okay, so after this, they talk about ask, seek, knock section, the narrow and wide gates, true and false prophets, true and false disciples, the wise and foolish builders. So it makes clear what type of person is qualified to judge, and I'm the only one who fits the description, and the last one ever. Okay, a lot of people say stupid things like, "Oh, he thinks this." Obviously, there's a difference between me and other people. Okay, wisdom is proven right by her deeds. I've been making videos where I've been arguing pinpoint moral precision on YouTube alone, okay, for 12 years, since August 2009, and on Facebook, okay? No ulterior motives, no group backing me up, my own 10 toes. Every once in a while, someone would collude with me in a video, you know, like guest star, do an interview or something. Yeah, I interviewed a lot of other people. I debated people, just completely destroyed them. I debated an atheistic Satanist, completely destroyed them. I don't think anyone who sees those videos would deny it if they were being honest. Okay. So, again, it says, you know, when we see in Proverbs, they're comparing the worth of a noble woman to being far more precious than rubies. So, if you don't throw pearls to swine, why would you throw the noble woman or the potentially noble woman to these dogs, these wolves, these pigs, these rats, these vipers, etc.? All right. Of course, when we get to Matthew 23, because that was Matthew 7, the first part of Matthew 7, 1 through 6, we'll go to Matthew 27, which starts off talking about the Pharisees, a warning against hypocrisy. It talks about how the Pharisees just put on a show and they want the most important positions, and the only one who's supposed to be called instructor is the Messiah, and that is me. I am the Messiah. Okay, if you have any questions about that, before you start acting like a troll or something, ask me, and I can easily prove that point. Matthew 23, a warning against hypocrisy. Pharisees, okay, I went over that. Okay, Matthew 23, 7 woes to the teachers of the law and the Pharisees. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You yourself do not enter, nor will you let those enter who are trying to. Okay, in the door, I'm the gate, right? They keep people from me, right? The Jews, the Muslims, the Christians, instead of obeying God through me, they're blocking the way. They're a stumbling block. Okay. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You travel over land and sea to win a single convert, and when you have succeeded, you make them twice as much a child of hell as you are. Okay, because the convert's supposed to see it in them. Why not to let them teach them? Okay, and then as time goes on, you see what I'm saying? They're guilty of all the sins that happened before them and the sins later, because they've attached themselves to the boat of hell. Okay, and they're the ones who should have learned from the mistakes of the generation before. There's a lot of different ways to interpret why they're twice as much a child of hell. If for nothing else, it's so to speak, right? You make them evil instead of good. Woe to you, blind guides! You say if anyone swears by the temple, it means nothing. But anyone who swears by the gold of the temple is bound by that oath. You blind fools, which is greater, the gold of the temple or the temple that makes that gold sacred? I couldn't even finish the video without the childishness of the state, of the corporate states, of the churches, of all the groups. Okay, they refuse to rally to me, so my videos get interrupted. So they can put on their Western theatrical nonsense, their sissy beta church cowardice, their military fucking, obey a bunch of pedophiles type of bitch while acting bad. Just scum. There's no excuse for this. There's no excuse for them interrupting. Okay, I'm the most important person that ever lived. They're sniveling white supremacists, racist, LGBT people, just horrible, horrible, horrible people. All right, anyway, where was I? Which is greater, the gold or the temple that makes the gold sacred? You also say if anyone swears by the altar, it means nothing. But anyone who swears by the gift on the altar is bound by that oath. You blind men, which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift sacred? Therefore, anyone who swears by the altar swears by it and everything on it. Anyone who swears by the temple swears by it and by the one who dwells in it. And anyone who swears by heaven swears by God's throne and by the one who sits on it. And anyone who interferes with the process of somebody who means well, anyone who leads the upright on an evil path will fall into their own trap. Okay? The things I've said in my life, I've gotten angry because I was covertly drugged and so on and so forth. Okay? And I sworn on the Bible, and that means nothing. I'm the Messiah. Okay? There is no cheating me out of my right to lead. If you don't know that, you're a fucking idiot. Okay, you don't get to poison Jesus on the cross and say, aha, he got carried away and said something he didn't mean. That means we're the Messiah. You don't get to do that. But even going through the motions of suggesting and beginning to suggest, okay, your ancestors suffered to the extreme in the afterlife. You've cursed yourself and your offspring. You're dumber than shit. Something I would never, ever, ever do, no matter what family I was born into. There's nothing more stupid than that. It's, so to speak, if for nothing else, it's way up there in stupidity. All right, anyway. Verse 23. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give a tenth of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin, but you have rejected the more important matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. So this is just like what I just said. It's a matter of justice. These rules are made because of justice. There's no loophole that allows you to cheat them. Okay, Jacob and Esau, bullshit story. The moral is interpreted by you. If it's not justice, it's bullshit. The moral isn't that you don't get to. The moral isn't that you get to cheat people. Jacob wrestling with God. The moral isn't that you get to cheat God. Okay, it's despicable. You people who put, mock black people putting paint on your faces. When they had all those fraternities, the golden age of fraternity, when 40% of Americans, especially white people, were in fraternities, that's when racism was at its highest. Okay, these fraternities and these social clubs that run society are historically immature, rapists, people mocking black people, just sniveling fucking worms, inferior forms of life, just horrible, pathetic bloodlines God hates, fools. They, for the life of them, wouldn't dream of insulting God to his face, but say, hey, maybe God's not looking right now, and act like bitches and persecute his son, just fucking cowards. Anyway, you should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. You should have practiced the more important matters of the law, justice. That's what counts first. Justice, mercy, and faithfulness. Mercy in what matter? It's not mercy. You don't let people who are going to hell into heaven. No. You don't fucking date scumbags. It's fucking stupid. Okay? Mercy in terms of giving the poor money and helping them, keeping them from starving, even if they did something stupid, and so on and so forth, in that sense, where it's applicable. But first and foremost, I'm the Messiah. The poor you'll always have with you. When I'm gone, the poor will be a bunch of bitches sucking the New World Order even more bitch dick. Okay? There's no point in helping them after I'm gone. Okay? They should have known better than to reproduce. And there's no point in following these sniveling worms that oppress me, these fucking wordplay cowards, these Masonic pussies, these corporate sniveling worms, these royal family of England, Europe type of trash. It's fucking stupid. Fuck you gonna follow those cowards straight to hell for? You're gonna act like a bitch and follow bitches to hell who change my voice and poison me because they don't want to hear a masculine expression? Just fucking coward. You're gonna follow that kind of Pee Wee Herman, fucking Ronald McDonald couldn't accept my challenge because they're inferior forms of life type of bitch? They knew better than to even try because they're that inferior. What does sparring show compared to your bitch ass fucking cultural imperative type of bitch challenges? You stupid motherfuckers. 24. You blind guides, you strain out a gnat but swallow a camel. You clean the outside of the... Okay, woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites. Okay? You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisees first clean the inside of the cup and dish, and then the outside will also be clean. See, they don't live by principle. It's the same thing with martial arts. It's you blind martial art teachers, you blind religious teachers. First, be morally precise enough to obey God through me, obey the source of righteousness through me. Then worry about how well you stretch. Then worry about how much, how fast you strike, how, your technique and so on and so forth. What does that mean? It's just a sack of shit doing a technique to impress a bunch of pussy ass fucking, animals that masquerade as people. Okay? First, clean the inside of the cup and dish. Woe to you sniveling Pharisee cowards and their punk ass descendants. You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside because of all the women you raped. Every generation. And their bitch-ass psychology. But on the inside, you are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside, you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside, you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. You build tombs for the prophets and and decorate the graves of the righteous. You say, if we had lived in the days of our ancestors, we would not have taken part with them in shedding the blood of the prophets. You testify against yourselves that you are the descendants of those who murdered the prophets. Go ahead and complete what your ancestors started. Woe to you, sniveling American worms. Woe to you, other people. What you say with your actions is that you're fucking bitches. And you testify against yourself that you're the descendants of bitches who do not have the heart to do the right thing, that are burning in hell right now, and rightfully so. Go ahead and finish what you started so I can wait by God's right hand while I'm making your forefathers and ancestors suffer. And then you can say it again to me what your actions have been saying the whole time to my face in front of God, you punk ass motherfuckers. They hid like fucking bitches, just like one.